You know, I preached a sermon years ago. The title of the sermon was Faith versus Foolishness. The reason that sermon had to be taught is because a lot of people in the body of Christ, they have a misconception about what faith is. And in fact, what they think is faith, a demonstration of faith, is a demonstration of foolishness. And I don't know how we got here, but it's a real problem. Anyone who has followed Bishop David Oyedepo at some point in his life will always remember, any faith that depends on God to do what God has commanded us to do is an irresponsible faith. And it's so profound. Once in a while, in his comical way, he will give illustrations like, just imagine, instead of going to the kitchen to prepare yourself a meal, you begin to pray fervently in the spirit and in your understanding. Lord, give me food. Lord, give me food. You have foodstuff in the kitchen. You have everything you need. You have gas. You have a burner. And you are praying fervently. Lord, food, food. By the time angels eventually show up, it is to carry you to glory. Because you're going to die. And it is not because prayer does not work. You have applied it in the wrong context. Because whilst the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, will not cease. Just imagine you are pressed and you begin to pray and you're praying fervently for the angels of God to carry you to the restroom. You know, if you've been in charismatic churches, you know not all tongues are the same. There are some tongues that you call consonant tongues. Have you heard caps lock tongues before? In uppercase. If you don't know, if you hear it, you will know that that's what I was saying. And you're praying. You know, the funny thing is, as you are growing more, it will be coming out more. And if you're not careful, you will just discover that you have sold yourself. Because you see, no matter how spiritual you are, there are some things that will still be your responsibility. And make no mistake, there are exceptions. There have been some times in the Bible where God will do for people what they ought to do for themselves. But the exception is not the rule. And miracles will never take the place of principles. Did you hear what I just said? I think this is one of the things that church people miss. The fact that Jesus walked on water doesn't mean you will never use boat again. A lot of people, the moment they see one miracle, that is the end of efforts. You walk on water, and so you don't want to pay for transportation. It doesn't work that way. Miracles will never take the place of principle. And so the same way, please listen to me. And don't get me wrong, because there are so many extremes. There are some people who go to the extreme to say, God doesn't bless financially. I wish you luck. There are some things, if I ever say, I believe angels will appear physically and say, you are an ingrate. You are an ingrate. God does bless. But please listen to me. If your financial story will change, you know what you're going to do? You're going to build capacity. You're actually going to have to learn a skill. Surprise. You're going to have to learn something and learn it very well. You have to learn something scarce. Scarce knowledge. Because if I can do it for myself easily, I won't pay you a lot for it. That is just common sense. You're going to have to build capacity. And you're going to have to work hard. Not just pray hard, work hard. It's going to take time. And guess what? Just like the text says, when you are supposed to be working, if you are not working, listen, by the time seed time has passed, by harvest time, there is nothing to expect because you didn't plant. It's just a simple principle. And whatever you see in the time of harvest, you deserve it. Help me nudge the person by your side. Say, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest will not cease. Help me ask the person, are you planting? I know you are praying, but are you planting?